All right, got a lot of things to do today. We got to clean the girl goat stalls, the boy goat stalls, the chicken coop, and the guinea coop. Then on top of that, we'll be moving on to some more winterization projects. So let's go. Pop the mask on real quick. The way that we layer our bedding is we usually put a small layer of lime, spray lime, on the areas where we know the goats pee on the most frequently. Then we'll put down a layer of shavings, and then we'll put down a layer of straw so they have a nice warm dry bed no matter where they are. And in the areas that tend to get wetter, the lime will absorb and help neutralize a bit of the acidity and reduce the smell when we're cleaning. Now, it's not as big of a deal in the wintertime, but in the summertime it gets pretty bad in here. You can really smell the ammonia. So I'll carry on.
When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. When you're crying, you bring on the rain. Stop that crying, be happy again, keep on smiling.
All right, I think all the really messy parts are cleaned up. Now it's time to put down the lime and shavings and start getting everything filled up with the bedding. Well, I knew I needed something at the ag store this weekend, and it turns out we're pretty much out of lime, so I'm going to put down what I can. It's not as big of a deal in the wintertime, but in the summertime we really need it.
Cheers, Scott Pettit on the drums right now. And here's my brother Ian.
Okay, bedding is down, hay is in the feeder. I do have to come back and do grain and water, but we'll move on to the boys. The boys haven't been eating as much hay as the girls, so sometimes we end up with extra hay just sitting around in the feeder, and if it stays there too long, they're just not going to eat it. So anything that's left in the feeder I'll usually just throw down and it becomes bedding. If they eat it, they eat it. If not, they've got something to lay on. All right, on to the chickens. first-time chicken owner, one thing to keep in mind is to regularly clean your nesting material out of the nest boxes. You leave it in for too long, that'll allow for mites to establish and essentially live in the nest and then eventually transfer over to your chickens. So make sure that you do it on a regular basis so that it doesn't give them too much time to to move in. All right, we're done in this coop. Now on to the next chicken coop. We feed oyster shells to our chickens. We just use one of these little cans. The disadvantage of that is sometimes they manage to rip it off, so I'm going to have to reattach this before I consider this coop totally finished and clean. Okay, so we have this coop clean. I know I need to fill up their food and water, and then we'll call this done. Figured I would go ahead and just start winterizing our water. So I added on the heating component of our water, which is just a 40-watt bulb. Well, typically 40 watt. We only had 60 watt available today. Under the cinder block, and then we just have a thin metal sheet over top that we put the water on. The heat is transferred to the sheet, then to the water. And we've been doing this for probably about 5 years with no problems. Now we'll note that we do have our power cord hooked up to a ground fault interrupter, a GCFI, and I think, and that generally will make things a whole lot safer, especially when you're working around water. I didn't forget our little container for our oyster shells. All right, so probably doesn't look like it took a long time in this video, but we've already been at it for about 2 hours. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the guinea stalls today. We'll see how much time we have in the afternoon. Thanks for watching. All right, you're in for a treat. decided that we're going to clean the ducks as well, in addition to the guineas. So let's get to it. Oh yeah, I knew I shouldn't have set up the camera on the feeder number 3. Let's see if I can reposition. So we're done in here. Finally, let's move on to the guineas. All right, and that's about all there is to cleaning the guinea coop. We're done. I should at least say we're done cleaning. There's always plenty more to do.